All right, let's do this. Hi, my name's Uma. I am 18 years old. I live in Lafayette, Colorado, in the United States. So Lafayette is a smaller town, kind of more on the outskirts of Denver, Boulder area. And let me see, I'm starting this channel for a ton of really interesting reasons. I want to share my art. I want to connect on this platform. I think it would be a great outlet, another fun hobby for me, and I was very inspired by a particular woman. Her name is Miss Hannah, and she does audiobooks on YouTube. There's a whole community apparently, but it really inspired me. I think it's a great option for me to be, reading out loud, but also for audiences watching. I think that it's really good for people who can't read or people who haven't learned yet, young kids, veterans. Some people feel like it's nice to hear a soothing voice when they're going to sleep or when they're waking up. Some people don't have time to read. They're really busy, and audiobooks can be a really great thing. So I just think it's a great service to the world, and I love to read. I think this will be great. So let's start this. So this is a book. Let's see. It's called A Mango-Shaped Space, and I have read it. I read it once a couple years back, and it was, hold on, it was special to me because it was enjoyable, but I also connected with it, and I didn't necessarily understand why, because I didn't feel that it could be me who could be experiencing what this main character is experiencing. But then I took a lot of tests. I spoke with a lot of other people who understand it, and it was a really interesting experience. So I want to share this book with you guys, and I'm excited to read it myself. Yeah, I guess, just sit back, enjoy the book, and stay tuned for other episodes coming out. Alright, this is A Mango-Shaped Space by Wendy Mass. For Joseph, who is new, for my grandparents, who are not, and in memory of Merlin. So, here we have a prologue. Let's dive in. Freak. Freak! I'll never forget the first time I heard the word. That day in the blackboard, it was 5 years ago, when I was 8. For those who are mathematically challenged like me, that means I'm 13 now. So there I was, dressed in my shepherd girl costume from the Christmas play after school, struggling to complete the math problem on the board while my fellow third graders watched. The one-size-fits-all costume didn't fit me. The shortest shepherd in the class, so I had to keep pushing up my sleeves. The chalk dust tickled my nose. My feet were freezing in the sandals that in my humble opinion no one should have to wear in northern Illinois in the middle of December. My mission was to multiply 24 times 9. I remember thinking that if I wrote slowly enough, the bell might ring before I could finish. Just 5 more minutes. Then no one would know that I couldn't solve the problem. I rolled the smooth piece of chalk around my fingers and tried not to think about the whole class staring at my back. Glancing around in what I hoped looked like intense concentration, I noticed a few fragments of the colored chalk on the edge of the board and used up some time. I put down the white piece and began rewriting each number on the board in its correct color. Mia! My teacher, Miss Lowe, startled me. I have a teacher named Miss Lowe. As I turned, the chalk screeched on the board and a deep red zigzag shape sped across my field of vision. My classmates groaned at the noise. "This isn't art class," she said, wagging her long, skinny finger at me, as if I didn't know that. "Just use the white chalk." Isn't it better to use the right colors, I asked, confident that the other kids would agree. The class giggled, and I grinned, thinking they were laughing at her, not me. What do you mean, the right colors, she asked, sounding genuinely confused and more than a little annoyed. Now I became confused. Wasn't it obvious what I meant? I looked at the classmates for help, but now their expressions had changed. They gawked at me as if I had suddenly sprouted another head. My hands started to shake a little, and I rushed out my explanation. The colors of the numbers, like 2 is pink. Well, of course, not really this shade of pink, but more like a cotton candy pink. And 4 is this baby blanket blue color, and I just figured it would be easier to do the math problem with the numbers in the correct colors, right? I pleaded with my classmates, my friends, to back me up. This time, when the class laughed, it didn't sound so friendly. I felt my cheeks burning. Then I heard it. A loud whisper from the back row. Break. Except it sounded like freak. What are you talking about, Mia? Demanded my now clearly irritated teacher. Numbers don't have colors. They simply have a shape and a numerical value. That is all. But they have all those things, I whispered, my voice sounding far away. Miss Lowe put her hands on her hips. I've had enough of this. For the last time, numbers do not have colors. Now, are you going to complete the assignment? I stared at her and shook my head. I suddenly felt very small, as if my skin was tightening, and I was actually shrinking. A whirring sound filled my head. How was this possible? Was everyone playing a trick on me? Of course numbers had colors. Were they also going to tell me that letters and sounds didn't have colors? That was the letter A. That the letter A wasn't yellow like a faded sunflower, and screeching chalk didn't make red jagged lines in the air. I replaced the chalk on the ledge, aware for the first time that my hands shake when I'm nervous. I stood with my arms at my sides, sleeves hanging halfway down to my knees. Was I the only one who lived in a world full of color? I waited to see if they were going to tell me the earth was flat. A badly constructed paper airplane wobbled past my nose. Miss Lowe sent me to Principal Dubner's office, where I repeated my explanation for using the colored chalk. By the time my parents arrived an hour later, I'd run out of steam. I sat there and listened to them talk about my uncharacteristic behavior. I wanted to tell the principal that his name was the color of freshly piled hay. I quickly thought better of it. Even at 8 years old, I was smart enough to realize that something was very wrong, and until I figured out what it was, I'd better not get myself in deep trouble. So I pretended I made everything up. I sat there and said things like, it was stupid. I was only playing around. And at least 20 times, I'm sorry. The principal left me in the hands of my parents, who brought me home. I promptly kicked off the stupid sandals, threw on my sneakers, and took off running through the fields behind my house. The cold didn't bother me. I was too busy brooding over the unfairness of it all. The Christmas play was short, One Shepherd Girl. Miss Lowe made me clean the erasers up for a week and apologize in front of the whole class for taking up their time with my nonsense. Those were her words, not mine. Pretty soon, everyone all forgot about that day. Everyone but me. I learned to guard my secret well, but now I'm 13. Everything's about to change, and there's nothing I can do to stop it. All right, that is the prologue. We'll get to the first chapter next video. Please stay tuned if you're interested. And I suppose I will see you later. Bye.